Hello again. I wanted to chime in on this whole ZaZa Ali and the women's retreat that never happened. I waited a little bit of time because I wanted to see other people's perspective on what they were saying, and I wanted to give my own perspective on it. And I just listened to a video from Irene Yvette, and she gives a very good synopsis of everything that happened. I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version, the highly abridged version. Bottom line is, ZaZa Ali held a women's retreat, or she was scheduled a women's retreat that was supposed to meet in the beginning of November. They were supposed to be out there at the beginning of November. In the beginning of October, the hotel had canceled the event for lack of payment. The women didn't know that the retreat was not canceled, or excuse me, the retreat was canceled the day before they were supposed to be there. That's when ZaZa told everybody that they were supposed to be there, and during that time, the month before, 30 days before, because it's hotel policy, they don't get payment, they cancel the event. There was a series of communications that she had with the women that had indicated that, yeah, this retreat was still on. So to get the details on that, go to her video. I'm going to put a link on in one of the comments below, so you can see the video for yourself to get all of the synopsis. What I wanted to discuss was, because what people have mentioned is that here's this person that says she's conscious, she's spiritual, and she did this. What's going on here? She behaved this way. What's going on here? Is there something that I'm not understanding, or is this? I mean, this behavior seems highly suspect. How can somebody who's conscious, say this? The bottom line is here's what's going on from an energetic level. Excuse me, level. In any moment in time, there are two ways in which we operate, all right, or which we think, manifest, move through life. It's either love or anger, fear. Those are the only two. It's one or the other, all right? Any other emotion or being or whatever, these are states of being. Okay, love is a state of being. It's not an emotion, all right? Anger, fear, state of being. So, and those are, it's like a light switch. There's only two settings, on, off. Same thing, same for us. We're either operating through love or we are not. Okay, on, off for ourselves. Now you can switch, in any one moment, you can be operating under one state of being, and then 2 seconds later, you're operating under the other state of being. So there's really no degrees of consciousness per se, because you're either operating through love 100% or you're not. Again, you can't turn a light switch 40% on and the light's going to be maybe a little different. No, it's off until the light switches all the way up, okay? Same thing for us. Either we're in love or we're not. Now, the reason why you may see different degrees of consciousness in people, like, oh, that person is more conscious than this person, is because that person is spending more time out of their day operating in a state of love than maybe the other person. So somebody that's operating through their day in 70% state of love, okay, is going to have a different experience than somebody that's operating in their day 30% of the time they're in love, okay, or 10% of the time they're in love, right? They're going to have a very different experience in their life. They're going to behave differently, okay? So our goal is to be operating 100% in that state of being of love. Now, let me define love. Love is not, oh, lovey-dovey, doormat, turn the other cheek, get slapped once, turn the other cheek so they can slap the other side. No, that's not love, all right? Love, again, is a state of being. You're being unconditionally accountable and responsible. All right, those three things. Unconditional, you're not judged. All right, there's no judgment, no blame, no guilt, no shame. All right, you're unconditional. It is what it is. You're not attaching good, bad, right, wrong. The situation just is what it is. Okay? Second, you're accountable. Let me find the definition a little bit more. You're unconditionally accountable and responsible for self and others simultaneously. I'll explain why that last part that I added is important. So let me go back. Unconditional, I defined that already. Accountable, all right? You're keeping tabs on yourself of where you are each and every moment. Am I being in love right now? Am I not? What am I doing that's causing me to not be loved? Or what am I doing right now that I'm pissed off and acting in anger and fear? Okay? What's going, you're keeping tabs on yourself, and you're taking accounting of yourself, of where you are in each and every moment. You're actively in the moment, okay? Knowing where you are, knowing what you're doing. And if it's hard, if you have trouble being in the moment, then you do what it takes to know, okay? If you need to meditate more, journal more, stop every 10 seconds and take stock, and until you're just constantly doing that, you're knowing where you are in each moment. All right? Accountable. Responsible. All right? You're responsible for your actions. You're responsible for what you do. So if what you do causes harm to somebody else, you take responsibility for that. All right? And you do, what I see that I caused you harm here. What can I do to, make it right? What can I do to bring you back to wholeness that and of the harm that I caused you? And you ask them. You don't determine for them what it is, because you're not going to know. You have to ask them. All right? So that's, and if it's something you can't do in the moment, then you can do, okay, I can't do this in the moment. What can we do here? What is there something else we can do? So you again, you're responsible. You don't say, yes, I'll do that if you know you can't. That's not being responsible. All right. Now I said for self and others. So that means while you're holding it, I explained doing it for self. Now for others, it means that, if you're accounting yourself, being accountable for yourself, you're also saying, okay, is this me or is this somebody else? All right, that needs to be accountable. And you're not taking on what belongs to somebody else. Same with responsible. If somebody causes you harm, okay, you are communicating appropriately and letting them know that they have caused you harm. All right, so they can know where they're at. And you're not taking on their responsibility. You're not taking on their karma for what they should be responsible for. And that's one of the things in terms of the way that we've been taught forgiveness. Being descendants of slaves and during slavery time, that they were taught the forgiveness that slaves were taught was to take on the karma of those that were causing harm to them, those that were abusing them, enslaving them. All right. And I did a video about that. You can go search and just, search in my videos for the word forgive. And I talk about energetically what's going on there. Now, getting back to the ZaZa Ali thing. So that's love. That's the state of being. That's the consciousness of love. So if you're doing those things, you're in love. You're quote unquote conscious. Okay. Spiritual. It's everybody has their own definition of that. I just look at the two states of being. Are you in a state of love, or are you in a state of anger, fear? Anger, fear, that's pretty obvious. When you're in the state of anger, fear, you experience the emotions of, jealousy, rage, vengeance. You judge, you blame, okay? You're not wanting to be responsible. You're making it about others. You're, excuses, making excuses. I do actually, let me read a list so you can kind of get some understanding of when you're in anger, fear. If you're feeling these emotions, okay, then you are in a state of anger and fear. That's your level of consciousness, okay? So if you are feeling these following emotions, you are in the state of anger, fear, okay? Judgment, blame, guilt, denial, greed, depression, tension, possessiveness, hatred, reaction, pity, resentment, shame, doubt, stress, malice, making excuses, hopelessness, jealousy, intimidation, lack, anxiety, inhibition, irrationality, envy, disease, arrogance, betrayal, phobias, selfishness, having hang-ups, illness, rejection, frustration, struggle, insecurity, dishonoring, vanity, confusion, repression, holding back, victim role, defensiveness, lying, addiction, attachment, volatile, reacting. I want to add vengeance, revenge. Okay, if you're experiencing those emotions or those behaviors or those reactions, then you are in the state of anger, fear, and that is not love, and that is not consciousness. When you're in the state of anger, fear, there are certain things you cannot do. They're not available to you because you're not in the consciousness to be able to reach them. It's like being on the ladder. If you're on the bottom rung of the ladder, you can't reach the top of the tree because you're not on that rung. Okay, so there's what's at the top of the tree, the fruit of the tree, okay, the juiciest fruit of the tree is not available to you because you're not up there to be able to reach it. So it's the same thing with when you're in certain states of being. So if you're in anger, fear, you're not in the consciousness of knowing that the truth will set you free. Because you see, when you're in anger, fear, you see telling the truth as being something that is dangerous, or something that's going to make you vulnerable, something that's harmful to you. You can't see the reality that being in the truth is what will set you free. Being in the truth is what will allow people to connect with you, people to be willing to work with you, okay? People to be able to trust you. So, I mean, we all understand that, sometimes we slip and we fall, and just saying, hey, you know what? I messed this up, and we don't have a place to stay. Okay, so I'm going to do what I can to make this right for you guys and get your money back to you. All right, that shows respect. I mean, one of those things that I listed was disrespect. Okay, when you're in anger, fear. There's certain, I already said it, I don't need to say it again. So I just wanted to present the situation, but first give you the understanding of the two states of being. So what kind of behavior did we see from her? All right, she wasn't truthful. Okay, she was very defensive. All right, in terms of how she responded. Again, you can see Irene's video to get those specifics, because that's what I'm addressing this. She fell into lack consciousness because she, took a while to refund everybody. I still think there's still some women that didn't get their money back. All right, and then in her responses to the people that were asking for their money, she made them wrong. Okay, so there was things that she showed that didn't show that she wanted to accept responsibility for what happened. And in knowing that, in doing that, that is what will set her free. So, but again, when you're in anger, fear, you can't see that as the way to go, as the way to be. You can't see that that is the safest option for you. That's the most productive option for you. Another thing that I want to share too is the results of being in these states. Okay, when you are in the state of love, which is being unconditional, accountable, and responsible for self and others simultaneously, your life is more, you experience more grace, more ease, more abundance in your life. Okay, grace, comes with humility. It comes with gratitude. It comes with appreciation. Okay, with what you have, and when you're in that, life just keeps bringing you more and more and more to be grateful for, to be appreciative of. Okay, when you're in the state of love, you are in service to others. Okay, it's like, I am having this retreat so that women can unwind. Women can have a space to be more connected to themselves, to who they are, so they can begin to have um, a closer connection with themselves, with their intuition, so that their lives can run more smoothly because they're more closely connected with their intuition. You heard of a woman's intuition. Okay, so if she was in service, she would have approached the retreat from that point. So from that point, it would be, okay, so I am doing this, whatever I got to do to make sure this happens for these women, because I'm in service to these women. That is what I'm here for. When you are in that quote unquote high consciousness, all right, you come from a place of service. So anything that could get in the way of that, all right, you're on it, you're aware of it, and you're already guiding things so that these things don't happen, so that these women can be served in the way that you want them to be served, so that there is no, the hotel didn't get their money, because you're doing everything that you can. You've set it up so that the hotel does get its money. Okay, so that means if you might have had to charge $200 more to make the event work, then you would have charged $200 more, so that they would guarantee that the women that invested would have that experience. The women that invested in themselves to be able to have that experience could have it, because you're facilitating it. All right? Or set it up so that they pay the hotel directly, so that these women would have a place to go. Okay, instead of you collecting the money, the hotel gets it directly. Because I've been in situations where I went to an event and I was the one that was responsible for my own hotel. So, so whatever. If that would be how I would do it, because then I don't have to be, I don't have to keep track of all of that. I can just keep track on what I, am the experience that I'm giving them, specifically. But anyways, it can be done anyway. Just do it in the way that you can serve those women best. So again, if she was in that mindset, that would have been the approach. If you're in that mindset of being unconditionally accountable and responsible, the universe comes in and supports you, because you're not blocking it. The universe, or God, or however you want to see it, is always there to support you in having what you want. We're just blocking it when we are in anger and fear. Okay? So what happens when you're in anger and fear? Okay, you experience loss, you experience lack, you experience illness, okay, you experience stress. So what is she experiencing right now? She's experiencing the loss of her reputation. Okay, she's experienced the lack of money right now, because she's got to give that money back, and if she've made certain arrangements or something with it, and now she's got to find out where to get some money, to make sure all those women get paid back. She's got to do that. So she's definitely experiencing some lack, okay, some loss as well, financially too, and stress. I'm sure this has got to be pretty stressful for her, because her name's getting spread all around the internet, and I've not in a good way for a lot of it, okay, illness. I don't know about the illness part. So anyways, so that is, what's going on there. So that gives you an idea of where her consciousness is right now. It's where she's hanging out right now. All right, where she was hanging out, which culminated into the experience she's having now. So I just wanted to give you guys, everyone, a understanding from an energetic point of view and what the different energies mean. So it's like when you're going through life, you're either in any one moment or another moment you're conscious. Any one moment or another moment you're not. The greatest gains that are made is when you are aware of where you are, and in that one moment or another moment you can choose to be in one or the other. So, for instance, for her, she had the opportunity to choose to be of true service to those women when the hotel, she knew 30 days before that there was no hotel. She was honest with her woman. She was honest with the members that, trusted her to go on that retreat. All right. So she had that opportunity to strengthen her quote unquote love muscle, okay, her love state of consciousness. But she chose not to do that. And she kept, what she did in that last month especially, is she reinforced her anger fear, by continuing to lead the women on, by continuing to ask for, the remaining deposits, okay, when she knew that there was no reservation for them. She strengthened, instead of using that moment, using an opportunity to be in the truth and to be of service, to be unconditionally accountable, responsible. She chose the opposite. So what she did in that moment was she became stronger in her anger, fear-based consciousness, instead of becoming stronger in her unconditional, in her love-based consciousness. Okay? So that could have been a moment for her to make a quantum leap. Yet she chose not to. And that's the one thing that we can walk away from this is we have experiences like this all the time. How are we going to choose to use them? Are we going to choose to use that experience to be stronger in our love-based consciousness and reinforce that moment to moment? Or are we going to use this experience to choose to be in our anger, fear-based consciousness and reinforce that moment to moment? That's what we have. That's what we can do in each and every moment. The more moments you take to reinforce your love-based consciousness, the more in that consciousness you will be, and the more grace, ease, and abundance you will experience in your life. Okay? So, and this has, what I'm going to do is take this concept and apply it to systematic white supremacy. It'll be a very interesting perspective, but one that will allow you to kind of step away from it and not react and involve yourself personally, but you can get a different perspective as to how to approach it for yourself. So anyways, that's a video I'll do later. But that's all I wanted to say. If you like this video, please share it, give it a like, give it a comment. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on it. And, I'll just see you in the next video. So take care, and let's, strengthen your love-based consciousness so you can have a life of greater grace, ease, and abundance. So we'll see you.